LGBTQA+. So happy to be one of us, 'cause that's love. That's love.
My name is Shannon. I identify as cisgender bisexual. I spend most of my days at Canadian Mental Health Association as the manager of the wellness programs. Prior to that, I did a regional project around suicide prevention, and prior to that, I worked in the school system working with young people. In the LGBTQ community, I think the social determinants of health really impact because there's more isolation, there's less ability to be seen, especially in a small community. People need connection, and so sometimes if you're not part of the community, you don't understand that because our culture is sort of just like, you have to be this certain way, and when you don't see yourself in that community or people don't see you in that community, then it's really easy to feel disconnected and at odds with everybody else. And if you don't have that connection, then you struggle. All of the stats show that in the LGBTQ community, there's higher rates of suicide, and we have to look at that not as what's going on for a person as in what's wrong with them or what struggles they have, but also we have to look at how does the community support and hold up our folks. I encourage people to find their people, and when they find them, to hold them near and dear. I had a conversation yesterday with a young person. One of the places that you can start, for example, is with your family doctor, with your physician. If you feel like you're really struggling and you're not sure what's going on, and the young person said, well, what if I don't feel safe with my doctor? And I said, well, then that's not your person. You need to find your safe person first and then go from there. Suicide rates drop in numbers, especially in the LGBT community, when they have just even one family member or caregiver who cares about them, who sees them for who they are, who encourages them to express themselves the way that they want to. It drops by half, those stats. That's incredible to me. I think so much of it is how we show up as a community for people. So are we taking care of homelessness? Are we taking care of people's ability to have food on the table? Are we taking care of how people can be together in families? I really feel like what we need to be in community is expert listeners, not expert knowledge keepers. We don't have the knowledge around what and how a person walks their journey. We have the ability to listen, and sometimes actually, and the feedback that I get from young people in particular is that that's all they want and need, is someone to listen. One of the things that we can do in this community is have places and spaces where people feel like they can be seen, and that looks like having good policy and procedure. For example, using the pronoun that a young person wants to be called, or that anybody wants to be called. That's a really simple thing, but a really powerful thing for a person. For example, walking into a doctor's clinic, and if you approach and they use the pronoun that somebody doesn't want, right away. If nothing else, one thing that I have noticed about being a part of the community is how creative we have to be in getting our needs met. Look at the Pride Project is one example. I mean, it is it is showing, it's making people be able to feel like they can be visible, or if they're allies, that they can come alongside. I think people in their hearts and minds sometimes have no idea how to support, and so it provides this opportunity in smaller communities who may have never even have heard of Pride or have understood the intensity of what can happen for somebody when their identity is denied. I think there's so much freedom for everybody in a community when people can be seen in all of their beautiful diversity. We know that poor mental health, and by poor mental health, suicide, self-harming behaviors, substance use issues show up more acutely in the LGBTQ community. And I think it is because, and I think it's a common theme as in what we're talking about, it is because when we have to hide who we are, when we have to show up and almost like act in a way that is expected of us, or if our family doesn't support us, or if we can only just show just a glimpse of who we are and how we want to express ourselves, that can be so crushing as we grow up, and even in all of our ages and stages. There's just one person that sees you for who you are. When you walk out and maybe you don't have good experiences, but that you know that there's that one person, that really matters. It is always how you show up for people. I don't think it's in what you wear or how you wear your hair, or like if you're like wearing a pride flag every day, or even if you put a pride flag. I just don't think it's that. It's about being human. It's about showing up with all of your, like, know that you're going to make mistakes every day and kind of chuckle about them and have some ease. And then when you have ease about yourself, if you feel like, hey, I'm a good human, also that you have privilege and and you have a lot of work to go through. But if you see that, I think that someone looking at you will be like, oh, that person is gonna hear me, is gonna see me, they're gonna listen to me. One of the ways that I really feel helps people thrive and stay connected to who they are is through nature, movement, and connection. And when I say that, people often think that they have to climb like Mount Kilimanjaro, or like connect to like a huge group of people, and like when I say move, that they have to like run a marathon. And I don't mean that at all. I mean that if you are struggling with anxiety, even if you can open a window and let the breeze hit you, or step a toe outside and see if it's raining or not. Movement can just be anything. It can be like moving your hands. It can be because when people are struggling with depression, sometimes they say that they can't even get out of bed. So it is just kind of celebrating those little moments, and then connection either to yourself in whatever way that looks, and to other people, even one person, regardless of if you have to take medication, regardless of if you have to go in and out of hospitals because you need that care. Those are three things that I just really have for my own mental health, that I know that I kind of have control over. And so I just hope for people that in whatever way that shows up, nature, movement, and connection can be a part of their health.
LGBTQA+, so happy to